to take a quick look at the film Wolf House. Unfortunately, this film really wasn't that great, so it's another one of those movies I kind of want to treat more as a PSA or public service announcement type video, because I definitely feel it's one of those films that really does not deserve to be watched. It wasn't that great, in my opinion. It's filmed as somewhat of a found footage or a documentary style type film. We have the opening with a guy sitting in silhouette. He's kind of pretty much just, I guess, giving us the whole purpose of what their reasoning for going out there and filming was. So obviously they just kind of wanted to take a look at this spooky old house, and they wound up with a lot more than they bargained for. Unfortunately, I wound up with a very dull and boring story. The introduction itself, which should set the tone of the film, really lets you know this is going to be a stinker. We have this guy talking about his experience, giving the warning, and it's a very long, overdrawn scene. It becomes dull in itself. And at some point while watching this, I began to wonder, is this all the movie is? Is anything actually going to happen? So, in my opinion, the majority of the characters in this film were very basic people, but they were extremely uninteresting. Their dialogues and conversations were also very uninteresting, even though it was normally written dialogue, but I just really didn't care. For the most part, their camaraderie or the way they got along with each other, again, was also very believable, but it's just not one of those films that really held my interest. It was just more of a point to where it became more of a background film and something that was just making noise. So we make it up to 17 minutes into the film, and at that point it felt like I had watched way more of the movie, because as I have stated, it was just very dull, very uninteresting to me, and I just really wasn't into it. But I did stick it out. I tried to give the movie the benefit of the doubt. So literally there isn't much action going on until roughly 30 to 32 minutes into the film, when someone finally gets attacked. There was also a large creature that was killed, and for some reason someone keeps referring to it as a Sasquatch, just because it's some big, dark, furry creature. Nobody knows what in the world it is. So obviously we later discover it's a werewolf. There are several attacks that take place within the home, and of course they do have a, I guess you could say, somewhat of a live camera setup somewhere else within the house, and we get the whole picture-in-picture view. So we've got the surveillance thing going on as we're watching someone else in a different part of the home, either potentially fleeing, defending themselves, or being attacked. But that was also just a very straight-on and not too interesting. When the creatures first appear, it's more of a blurred shape running across the screen, or just kind of in the bottom corners of the screen, and it's kind of like, come on already. So when we finally do see the wolf, it's basically a guy in costume, pretty much on, I guess you could say, on all fours. He has kind of like a stilted thing that he's on to hold his two front arms slightly higher up so that he can walk on his back legs. But it's kind of like a really weird look, but either way, it pretty much just looks like a guy crawling around on all fours. And I guess they were trying to keep it interesting. So eventually we also do have, I guess you could say, ghosts or zombies which show up. And yeah, you would think to yourself, oh, well, that's interesting. It's a unique spin on a werewolf or a haunted house type film, I guess. But unfortunately, the cake makeup that the zombie actors or the ghost actors are wearing is a lot worse than the stuff I'm wearing right now. It looks really bad. Yeah, it's just really not too interesting or unique. It just kind of looks like, you know, something that pretty much anybody could have done. But really, all in all, it's just a very dull, very badly acted, uninteresting, and ununique film. The poster itself also seems to be a blatant ripoff of the Company of Wolves poster. At least that's the sense I get when I look at it, but definitely not a film worth watching. Even if you're looking for like a time killer film while you're doing something else, watch something else. Just save yourself the time. I think currently the film is selling for $9 the last time I saw it when I was out and about. And honestly, I wouldn't even pay $3 to watch this. Definitely a terrible, terrible film. And if you haven't seen it, please do not look for it. You will definitely regret that decision. But that is pretty much all I have for you guys today, and I will talk to you later.